Let's talk about gut health. Again, a lot. I think it's important. I really, really, really do. It's one of those things where once more people started to do, much more learned people than I, of course, started to do more investigation into what exactly happens with your, well, now it's been described as your second brain. What goes on in there, it has a big repercussion in your overall health. What they found out by dealing with the microbiome and the microbes, which we're going to be talking about here specifically, what you can find out, what you can cure, what you can discover by analyzing that, it is miraculous. Nothing short of that. So, each human is an ecosystem. That's nice. And we play host to countless microscopic life forms. As strange as it might sound, if you're not a microbiologist, our bacteria are integral parts of who we are, participating in nearly every aspect of our health. My mother was a preeminent scientist. No, mine isn't. Who held a microbial world in high esteem. And I have an unusual experience of learning since I was a child that could appreciate, or should appreciate, microbes. That's nice. Let's just get to the facts, okay? Most of us associate bacteria with infections, and we see them as our enemies. We have to wash those dirty germs off of our bodies, but we all know that there are good germs and bad germs. We scrub them from every surface, sterilize our food, and keep it safe. We obsessively use antibacterial soaps and hand sanitizers, and take antibiotics to combat infection. Yeah, those are all bad in excessive doses or even consistent usage, especially when it comes to hand sanitizers. When I wiped a curdled milk from under many folds of fat in my baby daughter's pudgy neck, what a weirdo. What a strange description. I always worried about the places where there was some redness, indicating that she had the beginnings of a rash caused by bad bacteria. We have trillions of bacteria and other microscopic organisms living in our skin, in our guts, and elsewhere in our body. Collectively, scientists refer to that community of microbes as a human microbiome. Some scientists prefer to call it the human biome, since it is non-human symbionts, organisms living in symbiosis with one another, aren't microscopic. Whatever, dude. The bacteria in our skin live in a complex balance with us and other bacteria, fungi, and even viruses. When the condition on our skins change, the balance can be thrown off, favoring the overgrowth of some bacteria while discouraging others that keep them in check. Everything on our biome, like any biome, is in a balance and harmony. So what does that bacteria do? Bacteria helps our body survive and thrive. Thanks. Without them, we wouldn't be able to maintain life. Our very humanity depends on the species that are so unlike ourselves that we barely recognize them as being alive. At least 700 different species of bacteria live in our mouths alone. Ew. They live in our teeth and on our tongues, inside our cheeks, the pockets in between our teeth and our gums. Oh, we don't want to encourage plaque buildup and tooth decay caused by an overgrowth of harmful bacteria. Much, if not most, of the bacteria in our mouths are beneficial. They keep bad bacteria in check, protect us against invasive bacteria, which we inadvertently imbibe via contaminated food, and even help us taste our food. Other research has connected our mouth bacteria with how we smell and taste wine and other fermented beverages. Interesting. The bacteria in our mouth also help in generating mucous membranes and beginning to process of digestion, as well as performing a host of other functions. Your body is essentially a condominium for your microbiome, or as I like to call them, your bugs. Oh, he's probably a riot at dinner parties. Dr. Stephen Gundry, a cardiac surgeon and author of the best-selling book, The Longevity Paradox, How to Die Young at a Ripe Old Age. I get it. You get it too? You are their home. Our relationship with our bugs has always been and continue to be symbiotic. In other words, their health is dependent on you and vice versa. While the oral microbiome, ladies, the microorganisms in your mouth haven't been extensively studied, in the past two decades, there's been an explosion of interest in the gut microbiome, the bacteria and other microbes that live in our intestines. These microbiomes help us digest our food, protect our stomachs and intestines from a leaking unwanted substance into the bloodstream. They play a key role in keeping us safe from infectious diseases. Some experts argue that it's healthier to have a wide diversity of bacteria in the human gut. Gundry is also convinced that one of the most important factors in living a long, And healthy life is feeding our gut microbes the food that helps them survive and thrive. He tells his patients that they can get younger from the inside out by eating foods that help beneficial bacteria thrive. We will have more energy and less risk of getting cancer and help stave off Alzheimer's disease. Pro-inflammatory gut microbes have been linked to depression and other brain disorders, so much that researchers in California Institute of Behavioral Neuroscience and Psychology argue that microbes even affect the way we think. How do you help out your gut microbiome? Well, obviously probiotics and prebiotics. What's the difference? We'll just cover that again real shortly. Probiotics are various strains and the beneficial bacteria are thought to be good for us, especially for our digestion. Functional medical doctors and other holistic health practitioners often recommend taking probiotics in pill form to help seed our guts with a beneficial bacteria. Foods that contain probiotics include plain yogurt and fermented vegetables like kimchi and sauerkraut. Prebiotics, by the way, are the nutrients that help support beneficial bacteria. These compounds within our food encourage the healthiest bacteria to thrive inside our bodies. Fruits and vegetables, including apples, Q-sertin, which we've talked about a lot, artichokes, dandelion greens, garlic, leeks, onions, sunchokes, never heard of those, chicory root, and some whole grains are high in prebiotics. Both are good, both are necessary, both come from very different places. One from fermented sources, probiotics, and prebiotics through your more unique sources. I don't really want to freak anybody out about the different things that you might have inside your body, or rather on your body as well. Face mites, great, wonderful. A menagerie of mushrooms, a microbiome. Cool, so you're growing fungus in your gut. How delightful. And bacteria guests inside our gut. At least 8,000 strains of bacteria and possibly many, 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 many more. Scientists have found that healthy people have gut bacteria quite different than the gut bacteria of people who suffer from diseases like type 2 diabetes and ulcerative colitis. And that's what's so interesting, because the more research that gets done on gut microbiome, the closer you start to get to figuring out what causes and what could be a potential solution for very detrimental human conditions. But with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.